Happens.
Thank you for joining us today. I am here with Patrick Law, our Chief Operating Officer here at CheckAlt. Patrick, thank you for joining me today.
Love being here. This is great.
Awesome. So, Patrick, we've been talking recently about the talent shortage and its impact on financial institutions, businesses, a lot of our clients, whether it's from retirement of experienced professionals, whether it's from cost-cutting endeavors by businesses that are looking to save a dollar. It's really impacting our industry. So, what are you seeing, or tell us your perspective on what you're seeing in the market and how it's impacting our clients today?
Sure. For those who have heard me speak before or know me a little bit, I like going backwards before we go forwards. So
Absolutely.
I just want to tell a quick story about why this topic fascinates me. And so when I was at US Bank Corp, I was lucky enough to be selected. There was 8 of us that were sent out to California to go through a multi-day training education on generational differences in the workplace. And the name of the group was called Bridge Builder. I don't even know if they're still around, but they were awesome, really awesome. And they taught the 8 of us what was happening from a talent perspective globally, but specifically in America. And our CEO at the time, his name was Richard Davis, amazing leader, one of my favorite CEOs ever, just a really good dude. And he was at the most powerful women in banking awards ceremony. And he was very proud of the female leaders at US Bank, and US Bank, I think, continually wins that thing year after year after year, even all these years later. And the keynote speaker, or one of the speakers at the event, was one of the Bridge Builder founders, talking about what was happening and was about to happen by 2020. So this was like 2008, 2009. So looking ahead 10 to 11 years. And what Richard heard that day scared him. He was like, whoa, like, as smart as Richard is, and a lot of leaders are, talent management doesn't always end up front and center of dialogue. And it kind of hit him at an awards ceremony what was happening. And I'll share just a bit of it, what he heard and what we were trained on and what has come true, because now we're here, right? They were talking about 2020 and beyond, and here we are in 2025. But what he heard was baby boomers, the largest generation at the time in the workforce, was retiring. Mm-hmm. And you guys can fact check me, whoever's going to listen to this, and you can too, Theresa, if you want to re-record this. But it was a big number. It was like 75,000 baby boomers a day were retiring. Maybe it was 25,000, maybe it was 50,000, 75,000 sticks in my head. But that's a lot. And in the 80s, we weren't in corporate America in the 80s, but I remember as a kid watching the nightly news, and they were broadcasting layoffs every night. Layoffs kind of became a thing. And I was living in upstate New York at the time, and Kodak Corporation was big time part of all that. And I remember thinking, oh, that's weird. Anyway, if you fast forward to corporate America when I was in it, a lot of the positions that were let go 80s, 90s into the double zeros were trainers, technical writers. For whatever reason, good or bad, a lot of organizations said, we don't need that. Salespeople, marketing people, we need people that generate revenue. Keep them. Everyone else we don't need. Well, like a lot of leaders do, or a lot of organizations do, you're making a call in the moment for the next quarter. You're not looking that far down the road. So generationally, the largest generation in the workforce, and these are the people that put us on the moon. They brought Coca-Cola to China and Disney to Japan. Big thinkers, big drivers of change in corporate environments, all types of environments. Well, then my generation came along, Gen X, and we are the smallest generation for a variety of reasons, but our numbers are small. Then our children, millennials, Gen Z types, who are massive population centers. So there's like this baby boomers, and then a slide down to my generation, and then back up with millennials and Gen Z. But now the trainers are gone. or the people who knew how to do all of this really complicated work, aging technology, aging processes that people didn't want to spend money on. No one was training the next generations coming up. And the thing at the time for my generation was, if you can survive and hang on, you're probably going to get the big job because there's no one else to do it. Not a great hoorah in terms of,
Right.
oh, I really got this job and I earned it. It's probably because there's no
Yay.
one else there. I know in my case, I probably shouldn't have been promoted as young as I was, but I was. And then I just had to figure it out. And when
Right.
you have a bunch of people like me running around trying to figure it out, a lot of the old norms get thrown out the window and things change there too. Well, then if you fast forward to COVID, now the bridge builders people in 2008 to 2010 didn't know we were going to have a pandemic in 2020, but all of their material pointed to 2020, that a lot of the boomers would be gone. You're going to have a very small population of Gen X if they chose to go into corporate America.
Hmm.
And then all these millennials. And then what else happened? Colleges started to change, right? Meaning not a lot of math and science degrees, lots of social science degrees. What is corporate America built on? Ones and zeros, math, science. Well, now look, my undergrad is sociology. So it's not like
Did
I'm a
not know
math
that.
wizard. It's not like I'm a math wizard. I mean, being a soldier and a pilot before I joined corporate America, I didn't really care about my education. I just went and got a degree because my parents wanted me to after I served. And sociology sounded easy, so I did it. I had no intentions of being a corporate raider. Like I didn't know. So if you throw all that in a pot and you start to stir it up, population of highly educated folks who have done the work for 20, 30, 40 years, retiring or being asked to leave, sadly, because of corporate condition and layoffs. They didn't have time to train their replacement. Lots of people didn't get trained. And then you have a workforce that is undereducated in math and science. It just is. A lot of people are built on initiative now. Enter gig economy. Enter work from home. I don't want to go back to an office. What do you mean? COVID sent me home. I'm just fine working at home. Richard at US Bank also would say things like banking is the accidental profession. No one grows up saying, I want to be a banker. Okay, maybe there's a few. Like I would do these generational classes at the bank, 50 people, 100 people at a time, and I'd ask people, when you were growing up, did you want to be a banker? I remember this, and I did this for thousands of US Bank employees. Literally, that's what the 8 of us were trained, was to get into our workforce and educate on the talent gap that was coming in 2020. One person raised their hand in one of the audiences and said, I wanted to be a banker when I was growing up. Okay, good for
Only
them. And,
one.
and they were a great banker. Everyone else wanted to be an astronaut, a pilot, a baseball player, whatever. Well, now what do you want to do? You want to keyboard it. Like the gig economy changed our workforce immeasurably. And many of our customers here at CheckAlt, many of my buddies who are in corporate America in their various industries, they're having trouble finding people to come to work. So what does a place like CheckAlt do? What does Johnny Appleseed's Corporation do? Well, you better be really good at leadership. You better know how to engage a workforce. You better know how to hold people and keep your retention levels down. It doesn't mean bribing them with money. It means creating an environment where people feel like they're empowered, and they actually are empowered, and that they can control their outcome, and they can make a decision and it sticks. And you don't have to go through 17 layers of bureaucracy to get approval to do something right for a client. If people come to work and feel empowered, they're going to win. We have built a culture here that people are empowered. Do we get it right every day? No, we're human. No human is perfect. But the workforce here is empowered to make a decision and live with the consequences. Some people that would be scary. Consequences, that's a scary word. You learn from consequences. You learn from making mistakes. I make mistakes every day. I say the wrong thing. I do the wrong thing. Sometimes I should have went left instead of going right.
It's the
As
only
long
way
as
you
you
learn.
don't, as long as you don't keep repeating those things, you're going to be okay. So that's what our culture does here. Now, our customers who may not have those kind of opportunities to be empowered, we have really large brands here. They're bureaucratic, they're heavy with process, all for the best of reasons, by the way. I work for two Fortune 150s. Those rules and process exist for a reason. You've got shareholder value you're taking care of. Your brand impacts your share price, Bob, all the stuff that everyone should know about or probably has a good sense of. But at the end of the day, despite all of that, they need help. What can we sell them? Are we selling them hope? Like you can't put your hands on hope, but organizations as they get smaller, because it's harder to find talent, it's harder to keep talent. People's expectations are different now. There's not a lot of training material laying around. Not everyone likes the job they enter at first, right out of college. Maybe they don't want to work at a bank or a payments company or a fintech or whatever. Building an environment inside CheckAlt that takes burden away from clients, gives them time back. Because the number one thing all organizations want is to take care of their customers, to grow revenue,
Right.
to hold and contain expense. Don't waste time or money. So how can we give them time back? We give time back because our workforce is empowered. Our technology is as solid as it's ever been. We're dabbling in the dark arts of artificial intelligence to give us more time to work with our clients and prospects, which gives them more time to get out and grow their books of business. So we're a bit of a force multiplier in the talent gap problem. So by luck or whatever, in 2008, 2009, I worked at a place that was led by a guy who saw the future because of what he heard at the most powerful women in banking conference or award ceremony, and then had the foresight to send 8 of us to go learn about the talent gap and how all the generations matter in the workplace. Just because someone's doesn't fit a certain profile, don't pass them by. They know things. Make the time in your organization to teach. Make the time in your organization to share knowledge, and then lead them well. Be fair, be transparent, treat them like adults because they're hard to find. People are like bricks of gold. They always have been, but boy, more so now. So what CheckAlt's mission is, we process payments. You can't force consumers to choose how they want to pay. A lot of the payments variables or products or concepts out in the market aren't going away anytime soon. So it shouldn't matter what your product is if you're managing the people well and your software and your services fill a void that a prospect or customer has because of the talent gap that came true, you win. So that's what we're doing. I don't know if I answered your question, Theresa.
You did, and you provided a lot of context around it too, and I thank you for the background. We talk with a lot of our clients too about the opportunities that they have. What are their options? If they're having and being forced to cut, that leaves that gap. So what are their options, Patrick?
Seek partners like us that have kind of gone the other way. We've doubled down on technology investment, next gen technology investment. We have the nimbleness because of the freedoms we enjoy as the type of company we are and how we're structured to move faster than a lot of our customers can move. There was a time in CheckAlt's past before a lot of us got here where a lot of things didn't get finished or done in a timely manner. How's that for transparency for everybody listening? We have pivoted so hard the other way in the last 18 months that we're now waiting on our customers. They're not waiting on us. Keep your word. We keep our word. If we say we're going to deliver something, we do it. Now, is it always on time? No. But 8 times out of 10, this organization delivers when we say we're going to deliver. And then we are rapid to respond if we did it wrong or if we didn't do it all the way right. Sometimes it's not right or wrong. Sometimes you didn't do it all the way right. You didn't do it all the way wrong. We're nimble and agile enough to see that and hear that and react to it. So the force multiplier piece of it for CheckAlt and our customers and people who are looking at us to do business with is it's not just your grandfather's check processing or digital payment or your card processing that we do or the RDC work or the API work that we do where we empower other businesses to get out in the market and serve their clients. We can react faster than our customers and prospects can. And that's a win for them. So as they are found it hard to fill spots because their bosses are like, you can't have that rec yet. We got to make our quarter. We got to make this number. We got to make that number, or we got to cut over here. Figure it out, Sally. Figure it out, Johnny. We can be that wedge. We can help continue on a version of client experience into their client base because we're nimble and agile and our technology is stable and we're next genning large parts of it so they can enjoy the benefits of capital expenditure without having to spend the capital. Pay us by the drink. We can do that for you. It's pure payments, but with an edge of a leadership culture that allows for speed and safety simultaneously.
Thank you. And I want to dig in a little bit more in a certain area too. And it's a little selfish to go this direction, but we also have helped a number of our clients who have had to eliminate certain areas of the business, like check processing, which is a very manual, time intense, heavy burden,
Mhm.
and be able to lift it and shift it and do it for them. Tell me a
Mhm.
little bit more about some of those examples or how that has been a benefit to customers we've supported in that regard.
For better or worse, as companies have become leaner, right? I'm choosing my words wisely here,
Very good.
but their contractual relationships with their client base continue. And a lot of times, organizations, out of necessity or maybe not thinking things all the way through, God forbid I say that out loud, but sometimes it happens because you're going so fast. Everyone's well intentioned, but sometimes you make a call that, ooh, I got over my skis on that one. You can rapidly move your environment to us. Our sites around the country, we have solid partner sites that has, I want to say, me with math, Theresa, you can fix this later, but tripled our footprint in terms of where we can process
Mm-hmm.
your work. You don't have to worry about shipping something to the other side of the country anymore or to another state or even another county. We have so much footprint now because of some strategic partnerships we've enacted. We can pivot to you inside 45 days and take your workload. And that's pretty strong. Most organizations, when they make a leaning decision, that's call it a 60-day to 180-day process. If you're forward thinking or allowed to be forward thinking, people can seek us out, or you already know we're here, and we can take on that burden for you. Get that stuff off your books. Get it off your P&L. Pay us by the drink as we go. We're transaction based, we're basis point based, and we're about the rev share. So we just don't want the work so we grow. We're willing to help you with your expense situation, but also share revenue back. We're in a unique position like that. We don't have the same pressures our competitors do that are publicly traded living quarter to quarter. We can do things where we can share in the benefits that we bring to the market of how money moves in this country. And we're willing to do that, and we're on the record of doing that. So we can help you with expenses, and we can augment or add revenue enhancements to your organization.
Very good. Another direction I want to take us to is the technology angle. As we think about treasury managers in particular and solving the needs of commercial clients at banks, there's that gap of a holistic tool or solution that allows the clients to be able to manage all of their inbound payments and in one central location. So it's a very inefficient process. So if we think about staff shortages, cutting staff, and the time intensive, okay, I've got 4 different channels I'm managing for inbound payments, and it takes me hours to do this a day. That efficiency gain of using technology to your advantage. Does that make sense? Am I going in an off direction?
Yeah, I think I'm tracking. I may have heard two things there that are in the same genre.
Okay.
So our product set, ClearingWorks, puts all of our payments and workflow management in one site. I've seen it firsthand. Several of our competitors, you have to log into multiple platforms, multiple sites they have because they've never integrated them.
Mm-hmm.
Being part of two Fortune 150s in my career, when you acquire a business, everyone starts that with the best of intentions, but usually run out of time or money or both. And you don't finish the integration completely. You get through the people, you get through the payroll, the HR stuff. Some gaps get filled on platforms, but a lot of times you don't finish the swing. So what we can do here is we have a platform. Now we have multiple platforms here, but we have a platform that is our primary go forward platform that does all the payment stuff, RDC, APIs, lockbox, e-lockbox, name it. We've built it into a platform. That's an efficiency gain for the user, whether it's our people using it so they don't have to swivel chair a bunch of stuff, or our clients and partners have one place to go, one source of truth. All your MIS is in one house. All your action items are in one house. All the actions you need to take on the payments as they're flowing through are in one house. That's a time save for them. Another part of the technology conversation with regards to efficiency and time change, the days of I got to ask my vendor a question or my partner a question. We are enabling AI internally here to teach our people faster. It can self-heal itself and learn as it's answering questions. And we're going to release that onto our client base at the end of second quarter, beginning of third quarter. So people will be able to save time that way too. You don't need to sit on hold with us. You don't need to wait for an email return. Our AI will be able to answer FAQs back to you in real time. And now what that does is the resources that we're trying to respond one at a time have more time for the harder questions. Not everything can be answered by AI. It's an augmentation tool. It isn't meant to replace. So by freeing our people up within CheckAlt, it gives them more time and space to answer the harder questions and spend more time with our clients. Be more consultative to the talent part of the conversation or lack of talent or having a hard time finding talent. Our people can be a training augmentation force. We don't want to make that our careers, but we should and will have more time to spend with customers who are struggling with knowledge, and we can educate them on us, on the market, on the business, what they're trying to accomplish. We can listen better. Because when you're running around and you're inefficient, you can't listen. Not easily and not completely. We're getting ourselves to a place where we can truly partner and consult and add more value than just selling you our software and our payment services.
So if we focus just one more moment on the technology aspect, I'm in the process of creating an article or writing an article right now around treasury management strategies and using integrated receivables to really help drive efficiencies for commercial clients. I know that's a mouthful, but the net is even in and of
You
itself.
sound very official.
Thank you. Even in and of itself, those small efficiency gains can offset loss of talent where you've got fewer people to work. It keeps them from having to do manual arbitrary work when they can manage receivables from one location. That's really where I was thinking of in that regard about efficiency gains related to talent shortages. So, Patrick, we've discussed a lot of things today around talent shortages, the impacts of, that talent shortage on our clients, on businesses, financial institutions in general. We've talked about potential to outsource to help, make sure that you don't lose the capability, even though you may be losing the talent. Anything else that you would share with our audience today and, how they can overcome those talent shortages, or what do you see the future, the talent shortage of the future?
Yeah, I don't see Skynet in our near future, but I certainly see a society. I'll keep it up here, right? You can insert workforce or society or whatever you want with the advancements of technology. And by the way, a lot of this stuff's been around forever. It's just now able to scale. More people are being educated on it. And it's like coming over us faster than we can comprehend how it's flying over us, specifically machine learning, artificial intelligence. I mean, you could just go out and YouTube Elon Musk and see what SpaceX is up to with the robotics, the self-driving vehicles, the taxi thing he's doing, the self-landing booster rockets. I mean, it's moving faster than I think human beings can comprehend it. So if you're a leader out there of any kind of organization, whether it's a treasury arm or a payments arm or a fintech or whatever, I would get really good at understanding what's happening. You may not be able to arrest it or have the funds to go after it yourself as an organization, but understanding how that's playing out and where people's heads are at with it. I mean, is the Gen Z environment there? Meaning, do they understand that that's where they need to go to get their education? Maybe this thing swings back. Remember, I said math and science stuff fell off the map.
Right.
In terms of people going to get those kind of degrees. Maybe it goes back the other way. And the way the strings are inside AI and machine learning and automation and all the buzzwords that are out there, you don't need really a 12-year degree in how to do this stuff. Like, it's very user friendly to build it, use it, and execute against it. Know what's happening in the environment in which you're operating from a talent perspective and what people are interested in. Because if you can't hold talent, you're in trouble. If you can't attract the right talent, you're in trouble. I mean, we have several customers and partners and buddies of mine out operating in the world that have had replacement requisitions or add to staff requisitions open for a year.
Mm.
And that's
if they're lucky enough to have that, and
if they're lucky enough to have them. And what does it do to the workforce that's left behind? So you went from having 4 or 5 jobs, which has been the norm for a long time. You and I know that, to now you have 8 jobs. That's a burnout potential. That's whatever. Like, what can you do inside your environment to keep people emotionally and mentally engaged with what you're trying to accomplish? And I think you can only accomplish that through being very transparent, admitting that you know things are hard and tough. And look, some people listening to this, so I do that naturally. Okay, good. But a lot of leaders don't. Like, they choose to avoid topics versus facing them. And I've always operated and felt like, just tell people the truth. Like, people are more capable of understanding what's happening than they're given credit for. And if you have an employee base that is empowered and engaged and told the truth, they're going to hang around. Maybe not forever, but that should be the new mission for everybody: is understand the talent you have. Do you have the right partners in place externally and internally, CheckAlt, to help you continue to be successful? Understanding and having the patience to know that all businesses are struggling with this and they're going to make mistakes. But if you can find the ones that will tell you the truth, you can find the ones that are quick and nimble to resolve and that are willing to try new things to make you successful, you'll win. That helps your employee base because they have a partner they can work with that's solid, not perfect, solid. And it helps you from a retention perspective. That's my opinion.
So thank you very much, Patrick, for your insights today. And I do encourage everyone, visit our website. We've got a wealth of materials, especially around AI and innovation, how we're using it here, the perspectives of how it can be a force multiplier. We have an article from Patrick around the force multiplier that AI can be not a human replacement, but a force multiplier.
Check us out. All of our tools, our products, they're meant to help you. And we want to help you. We've built an environment here that is collaborative and open. So give us a shout.
Thank you, Patrick. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Again, feel free to jump over to checkalt.com, give us a call or shoot us an email, drop us a chat in LinkedIn, and Patrick would be happy to respond to you as well. And until next time, thank you again for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.